Superman, don't.
It's why I'm here.
If you remember this movie, your childhood absolutely ripped. When I was little, I consumed almost every kind of comic book related media possible. I was into Marvel, I was into the Ninja Turtles, I was into Transformers, and of course I grew up watching Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. And trust me, this era was massive for DC. Justice League shows were coming out, Batman Begins had just come out, Superman had just returned, Watchmen was a visual banger. So yeah, the 2000s were great. And Warner Brothers took full advantage of the fact that its animated stuff was just popping off. So they decided, okay, let's start making DC animated features. Let's make a line of DC films, a line of films that's still going on to this day. And this line was created by both Bruce Timm, the guy behind the Justice League shows and Batman the Animated Series, and Alan Burnett, the guy behind like every Batman related thing ever, including Beyond, including The Batman from 2004. They came together to develop DC Universe animated original movies. Say that 5 times fast. This was a direct-to-DVD line of animated films. And because I'm crazy, it's now my mission to watch every single one of these movies from beginning to present, because they're still not done yet. And the first one is the classic Superman Doomsday. Can you imagine that? Like the first movie. We're gonna introduce a line of DC animated films, guys. Let's fucking kill Superman in the first one. But you know what? Respect. I remember really liking this movie. I remember at one point Superman just drops a guy from like the air and he drops into the ground and dies. It's crazy. It's a crazy movie. So I'm excited to revisit it. And I know in the title I'm like, the first DC animated movie kills Superman. It's technically not the first DC animated movie by a long shot, but it is the first film in the DC Universe animated original movies series, so I'll count it. So let's get down to business. Let's watch Superman Doomsday. So the movie begins with Lex Luthor, or as I like to call him, Lex Weirdo in this movie, and you'll see why in a bit.
There comes a time when even gods must die.
Immediately sets the tone. This is not, little kid stuff. This is like, oh wait, someone might die here, and we're gonna see that graphically in this movie. Something else I noticed was that the art direction was definitely by Bruce Timm, because the character designs in this movie are pretty much alternate versions of Bruce Timm designs we've seen before, and as a fan of his art, it's just great to see. It's incredibly iconic. I love it so much. Anyways, immediately after, it's really cool because we get the opening credits of the movie, and it's very much inspired by the Christopher Reeve films. It starts in space, and it showcases the cast and crew of the film, and I love little nods like that. And in general, I'm a huge whore.
What do you mean by that?
For opening titles in movies. I almost forgot. Before we keep going, the music in this movie. Robert J. Kral made a really solid Superman theme that just sticks in your head. It's one of those things that you just have to get right with Superman. His music has to be incredibly heroic sounding and iconic. Like for example, I love My Adventures with Superman. That's an excellent show. The music though, pretty forgettable. Anyways, once we're done, burning up and dying through the atmosphere, we reach the Daily Planet, and that's when we meet the hottest woman of all time. Another one! Ladies and gentlemen, again, like I've said multiple times, every time I revisit a movie from my childhood, I'm like, oh right, I had a crush on her, and another one, Lois Lane in this movie. Bruce Timm, horny. Like, this dude cannot be any hornier, bro. But honestly, little me, eating it all up, sucking it all up like a vacuum cleaner. Like, all of his women, I'm into it. He was in his flop era when he made Batman make out with Batgirl. But other than that, though, yeah, I'm a fan, man. And, Lois Lane, dude. I don't think, has there ever been a bad Lois Lane ever? I don't think so. If you say My Adventures with Superman, you're wrong, by the way. And Lois in this scene is arguing with Perry over how the Daily Planet isn't constantly grilling Lex Luthor, And Lois in this movie, by the way, is very much Lois Lane, go-getter attitude, doesn't take shit, and surprisingly, she's kinda indifferent to Clark. And I mean, she can be kinda intense and bossy, that's her character, but considering this is the movie where Superman friggin' dies, you'd assume they'd be in a relationship by now.
Yes! 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 No! Fuck! Shit!
Meanwhile, LexCorp and LexCorp workers are drilling somewhere? I don't know if it's ever stated, but they're drilling into the Earth and they find an alien ship, and Lex Luthor receives this news thanks to his assistant Mercy. And immediately, you're not fucking ready, Lex Weirdo in this movie is insane, dude. I don't know how else to describe it. The way he's introduced is Mercy goes into his office, and he's just standing in the window like, okay, here's the cure for cancer. Like, what? He gives Mercy the cure for muscular dystrophy, is what happens in the movie. But like, okay, that's cool, I guess. I guess he's just weird, but I guess he's nice. But then immediately after, he's like, oh, this is the permanent cure, so I need you to slow it down and make it like a lifelong treatment so that people can suffer for a lot longer. Fucking insane. You know what I mean? Who does that? Lex Weirdo does that. It's actually really good characterization. And what's dope is that this is immediately followed by a scene where Clark is trying to find the cure for cancer, deadass. Like, he's using Krypton science to see if he can figure this out for free, but he can't figure it out. And this is a great way to contrast him from Luthor. They're just completely different characters. One is in it for himself, and the other is in it for the good of humanity. Anyway, Superman's just chilling in the fortress, and then boom! Bruce Timm, horny as always. He has Lois Lane just coming out of the shower. Bruce, control yourself. Thank you, though. Anyways, why is Lois Lane coming out of the shower? That's right. In this version, Lois Lane is dating Superman, and that's why she's kind of indifferent to Clark, you know? Not that she doesn't care about him at all, it's just like, she can't see him like that. She's dating Superman. And to be honest, to me, that's kind of, I'm a big believer that while Lois Lane loves both, I think that she should fully fall in love with Clark Kent first. That's just me, I don't know. A great example of this is the show Superman and Lois, where Lois in the scene is just like, yeah, I'm really into Clark, and it's a really cute scene and I really like it.
I think Superman is into you. I'm in love with someone else. Clark from the paper. I know he's dorky, but I love him.
There's something so genuine about having a connection with the most powerful being of all time, and then being like, yeah, but I'm really into this dude from Kansas. There's something so sincere about that. I love it. Oh, and then Doomsday breaks out and kills everyone. Yeah, it's immediate. It's so fast. So what I'm saying is, if this is like your first Superman movie, you're screwed because you'll know basically nothing about anyone. And if you do know about Superman, you're also kind of screwed because I feel like the world doesn't give you enough time with these interpretations of the characters. Movie's only 77 minutes long, and now think about that time without credits. So it feels like it needed maybe 20 more minutes to just be able to breathe because it goes by so fast. As in, Doomsday comes out, and all hell breaks loose immediately. Like, dude, it's been less than 10 minutes and Doomsday's already killing people. But I will say, Doomsday is friggin' sick as hell. Dude kills everything, zero remorse, he'll wreck a child, it's nuts. I'm not saying I want to see people brutally die, but also it's Doomsday, so it's kind of expected. And the movie does a great job showcasing that, yeah, this guy is very fucking scary, and he will kill anything. And it's PG-13, it's not a Saturday morning cartoon, and so when I was little and I was seeing Superman get beat the fuck up, I was like, oh, he can bleed? Anyways, before the Doomsday fight even happens, Superman and Lois are arguing about how Superman is still hiding his identity. He doesn't want to reveal it to her because he feels like he'll put her in danger, but she's like, listen, we've been dating for 6 months. Tell me your fucking name.
It's Kal-El.
Your actual name, bitch! But as they finish up their argument and Superman is starting to consider telling Lois who he is, the Fortress of Solitude's robot is like, yo, you need to die soon. Let's get the plot moving. So Superman drops off Lois Lane at the Daily Planet, but why doesn't he leave her in the Fortress of Solitude if he wants her to be safe? Anyways, he drops her off at the Daily Planet, he flies out to stop Doomsday, who's destroying everything, and I swear to God, they're fucking tearing down the city. Like, everything you see is gone. It's like wiped out. You thought Man of Steel was bad? This shit's crazy too. Like, they're going through buildings, and I assume they haven't been evacuated yet because Doomsday appeared like 10 seconds ago in the movie. So Lois Lane, bad shit as usual, goes out on a helicopter with Jimmy Olsen to get to the action, and Doomsday pulls a freaking Tom Cruise and gets on this helicopter. Superman saves them, and he goes up to Lois, and he's just straight up like, yeah, I don't know if I can kill this thing. I will say, Doomsday is literally a wall of zero emotion. The fight isn't the most engaging thing because of this, but what is engaging is Superman's thought process, which I kind of wish was delved into more. That's where the emotion comes from, and I think the movie did a great job with this. Like, Superman has to exhaust all his powers. He's like, okay, ice breath, no. Okay, my super strength, no. Oh shit, nothing's working. I'm just gonna have to drop this dude from orbit. Like, it's really cool to see Superman's thought process, and he becomes more desperate as it goes on, and that's great. So the fight with Superman lasts a little less than 10 minutes, with Superman, like I said, flying up with Doomsday past the atmosphere and then flying back into Earth, burning up and crashing down in Metropolis, which, by the way, crazy. Like, look at that explosion. I'm sure a ton of people died, but hey, at least Doomsday died too. Hell yeah. Wait, isn't this movie about the death of Superman? And damn, Superman's dead. It's a genuine bummer, you know. Everyone's sad. Martha's watching it on TV and she's devastated. Everyone's going through it. And you know what they need? They need to check out today's sponsor, BetterHelp. Recently, for reasons I can't disclose, I've been dealing with anxiety. You know, I can't really sleep very well. I'm having trouble focusing on things that are going on in my life. I'm like constantly worrying, like, is my heart rate going really fast right now? I don't know. And so going to therapy has been really beneficial for me. I personally believe that everyone can benefit from therapy, and an option you can choose if you're seeking therapy is BetterHelp. Over 4 million people use BetterHelp, and it makes sense, you know? Sometimes finding therapists can be difficult, and sometimes it's hard to find the right therapist for you in your area. BetterHelp can match you to one of over 30,000 therapists in their network, and all you need to do is fill out a questionnaire, and you can switch therapists at any point with no charge. So with BetterHelp, you can have therapy sessions with a phone call, video chat, or even messaging, whatever works best for you and your schedule. In most cases, matching happens within 48 hours or less. So if you're looking for therapy, consider BetterHelp. Go to the link in the description or go to betterhelp.com/browntable to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/browntable so you can connect with a therapist and see if it helps you. Now, something that makes no sense is that Lois Lane figures out Superman is Clark Kent in this scene. The scene where he's dying. How? How did she come up with this information? Nothing has changed. He didn't say anything to infer that he's Clark. Am I wrong? Are you gonna sit there and tell me that I'm wrong? How about this? Watch the movie and tell me in the comments if I actually am wrong or if I'm right. I'll sit here and wait. Yeah, okay, that was enough time. The movie's like a minute long anyway. At 1/3 into the movie, it's a little fast, the world holds a funeral for Superman. And like the death of Superman, you know, in the comics, yeah, it seems like he's dead. But unlike the comics, only one Superman appears after Superman dies. Not multiple. But like the comics, yeah, one of them turns out to be evil. But we'll get into that later. So Lex Weirdo is extremely upset that his crush Superman is dead. Like, he blows a freaking gasket. He's freaking out. He kills his assistant Mercy. Dude has lost it. Like, you thought he was evil before, you actually haven't seen anything yet. Dude gets weird. Oh my god, I forgot. Okay. Jimmy Olsen in this movie has the dumbest side plot I've ever had the displeasure of seeing. Trust me when I tell you, you're actually not ready for this. Are you ready? Okay. I'm not an avid Superman reader. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know if the story they're adapting from is from the comics or if this is its own thing. But whatever it is, if you remove it from the movie, nothing changes. Absolutely nothing. A car just honked. It agrees with me. What basically happens is Jimmy's approached by this weirdo publisher or whatever to take paparazzi photos instead of taking photos for the news. And Jimmy ultimately accepts this job. And that's it. That's the whole thing. I'm dead ass, like, that's it. Like, Lois goes up to Jimmy and she's like, Jimmy, you're being fucking stupid. Come back to work with me at the Daily Planet. And he does. It means nothing. Why keep it in the movie? I'm so confused. Oh, I just remembered the movie's 77 minutes long, so they have to fucking, you know, pad up the runtime with something. It just happened to be like the worst side plot of all time. But whatever, because Lois is actually Sherlock Holmes, and she deduced that Clark, who is AFK because everyone thinks he's in Afghanistan, is actually dead. So she decides to meet Clark's mom, because she's gotta be the only person who knows Clark is Superman. And we get this genuinely, really touching scene, and I wish, you know, more of the movie was like this. I feel like the Jimmy Olsen subplot would have been fire if we got more of like Jimmy's psyche in this movie and what he's thinking. It sounds like I'm shitting on this movie, and I am a little bit, but like, it could have been so much better. Anyways, Nick, roll the clip of Martha being like the greatest mom of all time.
I was just about to put on a fresh pot of coffee. You look like you could use a cup.
So because Superman's dead, because he decided to sleep in the Nether, Metropolis is now full of crime. And the crime is rampant, and now we get introduced to Toyman. Now here's the thing, Toyman's kidnapped a bunch of kids in this school bus using a giant spider robot. Why has he specifically kidnapped kids? I don't know, but he does it twice in the movie, so... okay, Toyman. Anyways, Toyman almost kills a kid and Lois in the school bus, but they're saved by Superman?
Your stop. Be right back.
So Superman is now back somehow, and everyone's like, dude, what's happening? Why are you here? And they're right, something is off about him, because this Superman goes directly to Lex Luthor, goes into a red sun room and is caught in there. Lex Luthor appears shirtless with kryptonite gauntlets and starts beating the shit out of him. Then when Superman is on the ground, Lex Luthor straddles him and rides him and gets on top of him, saying, "Who's your daddy?" And then he goes down, gets really close and like caresses Superman's face, and then he goes and he says, "Keep up the good work." Do you think I'm lying? That wasn't my fan fiction. Nick, roll the clip.
Why did you leave me? Who's your daddy?
Huh?
Keep up the good work.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god. Imagine that happened in Smallville. Who's your daddy? Fucking hilarious, dude. He's a little too kinky in this movie, but he's definitely got his kinks. If you think that was just a one-time thing, it's not. He brings it back later.
Come to Papa.
Real quick, before we keep going, make sure to check out Interstellar Ranger Commence. It's Browntable's original animated series. This is the display that's on sale now. And there's 3 episodes out. Episode 4 is being worked on. Really hope you enjoy the series. It's taken a lot of work, so thank you so much for watching. We then find out that Lex has actually had access to Superman's corpse, and he's been cloning him this whole time. He's such a freak, but don't worry, Superman won't stay stuck in that tube for long, because the robot Oomphy that he has, just immediately breaks him out. So we cut to the Fortress of Solitude, and the robot basically tells Superman, like, yeah, you can't die by human means. Like, you're freaking cracked, and you can res yourself. So he's good, he just has to recover. And while Superman's like, I shouldn't recover, I have to go help the city, the robot's like, don't worry, your clone is out keeping the peace in Metropolis. But he's about to be wrong. Now, here's the part of the movie that was my favorite as a kid. I know that sounds crazy, and the scene I'm gonna talk about sounds insane. Okay, so let me set the scene. Clone Superman's flying around and he watches the news. Toyman's escaped from prison and held children hostage. Why is he holding children hostage again? Because of course he is, look at him. And so Superman, enraged that Toyman killed one of the kids, flies out to him. And he lands in front of him with the cops around him and everything, and he's like, yeah, I need to talk to your guy. Flies away, right? Then we get this fucking scene. I love it. Are you ready?
I have rights. I have nothing to say to you. How about goodbye?
Dude. Hardest shit of all time. What am I saying? Superman shouldn't do that. But let me just say, Batman is so scary, right? But Superman's a good guy. Like, when Superman's angry, that's scary. If Superman wants to kill you, he will kill you. It's over. And so this scene shows you, like, this is an evil Superman. And I know that's like not a unique concept right now, but at the time, this was 2007, I think. This was like, holy shit, an evil Superman. That's cool to see in animation. So yeah, this was dope. And yeah, this Superman just starts becoming evil. He's not just mean to Toyman, dude is rude to old ladies whose cats are stuck in trees.
It really irks me when folks don't take responsibility for the little things.
He also won't let himself be taken into custody by the police because he's operating under this misguided belief that his will is the will of the people's. He knows what's right for everyone and he'll do whatever he can to enforce it, which is terrifying. Now real quick, Lex Luthor put like a little kryptonite bomb inside Superman's brain. So to prevent any intervention from Lex Luthor, bro goes into like a spa, like a hair salon, whatever. He goes in front of a mirror, heat visions like the glass, and it like, ricochets into his skull. He like breaks through his fucking skin and skull, gets to the fucking explosive, then he gets like little pliers and like scissors and shit, and just starts, and he pulls it out. And it is so fucked up and awesome. I'm not insane. It's so funny. It's such a funny scene because he goes out and he casually goes,
A safe Superman means a safe Metropolis.
And like the ladies in the hair salon are like, like imagine someone like operating their brain in front of you. I would die. I would just pass out. That's crazy. So as this is happening, Lois wants to investigate Lex Weirdo, and so she goes into his office and is like, I'm so sad. Lex, I can't believe you fucking won. How did you make Superman your puppet? I'm gonna leave Metropolis. Lex, just tell me how you did it. And then Lex just goes up and he's like, do you want to have sex right now? I'm not lying. Lex like puts his hand on her thigh and is like, you seem lonely. And it's like, dude, what are you doing? This movie's insane. This movie's insane. And then they kiss. And then Lois stabs him. She stabs him with like a needle, so he passes out. Lois then brings in Jimmy to the office so they can investigate Luthor, and then eventually they have to carry Luthor's body to this like eye scanner, and then they find his like secret office. And in the secret office lab, there's just a bunch of Superman clones, and we know why he's doing this. Yeah. He's 1,000% gonna beat up all of them and then fuck them in the Red Sun room. That's 1,000% his plan, and if you don't agree with me, then you have not been watching the movie.
Who's your daddy?
But oh shit, Clone Superman appears in the lab, he destroys all the clones, and then Lex is like, oh shit, the detonator's not working, I can't blow up your brain, and then Superman's like, yeah, fuck you, I took it out of my head, and then Superman just kills Lex. So Metropolis is like, okay, Superman has just wrecked LexCorp or whatever building that was, probably killed Lex Luthor by just that insane fall, and he won't let himself go into custody. We have to stop him with military action. And so yeah, ladies and gentlemen, Clone Superman has become evil Superman, and he is the antagonist of the movie. So now the real Superman has to step up and save the day with only 67% strength. Sadly, not 69%. Bruce Timm, use your brain, come on. So now I know what you're thinking, what's Superman gonna do now that he's underpowered and he has to go up against a Superman that's basically him in his prime? He's gotta use a gun. So Superman, armed with a fucking kryptonite gun, has to go out and fight Clone Superman. And, it's a fight. I don't know what else to say. They're just fighting. Like, it's a basic fight, like, there's no ticking clock. There's no one that specifically needs to be saved. It's just like two superpowered people fighting. And so it can be a little basic, if that's the word. And I feel like that's a word that I would use to describe the whole movie. The movie's fun, but it's a little simple, and I guess that's due to its like short runtime too, but I wish it was a little more juicy. I wish there was a little more melodrama, especially considering that this is the death of Superman, so like everyone is emotionally affected. Clone Superman's ultimately defeated by having the kryptonite bullet canister explode and all that. And like, yeah, pretty simple. I mean, like, I could see it coming from a mile away, but it ends in a really wholesome way, which I really, really love.
Protect the people. It's why I'm here.
It's because, like, in the end, Clone Superman wasn't necessarily trying to be evil. He was just overly extreme with his actions. It's just so wholesome out of nowhere, it caught me off guard. And so, Lois and Superman kiss in front of everyone on top of dead Clone Superman's corpse? And everyone loves Superman again. I guess Metropolis is just used to so much shit happening over and over that they're like, oh, Clone Superman is evil? Great. Oh, another Superman wearing black just beat him? Okay, I think that might be the real Superman. I think we're good. Like, they accepted it so fast, but I get it. And then a few days later, Superman and Lois are chilling in her bedroom, and then boom, Superman reveals that he's actually Clark Kent, so he finally decides to share, you know, his secret identity. He shares all of himself to Lois, and it's a really sweet ending, and it's like, yay, they're together, let's go, you know? And then the movie ends. Just kidding. Lex Luthor's actually alive, and he's obviously plotting his return, going like, it seems you can't die, Superman. It seems. And it's like, why did you end the movie like that? Why'd you have to do that? You didn't have to do that. It just feels like a cliffhanger now, rather than it being like an ending, like a full ending with Superman and Lois kissing. They're now together, that's been resolved, but no, Lex Luthor's alive. Like, that's so annoying. Other than that, pretty great ending. Superman and Lois are easily the best parts of this movie. Their relationship Sadly, the real Superman is dead for most of the movie, so that's a bummer. So ultimately, this movie, it was my childhood, I remember it very fondly, but does it hold up? Not as much as I'd like. I'm a huge fan of DC Universe animated original movies. There's so many better movies than this one though. It's not bad at all. It's just not great. It just feels really simple, and again, I think that's because of the pretty short runtime, which again is even shorter considering credits, and I feel like the story kind of drags. It doesn't feel like much is really happening. It feels like once Superman dies, we're just waiting for clone Superman to become evil. It's just a little slow, and I love slow movies. I love slow burns, but the slow burning has to be really just chock full of character drama, emotional moments, and I want a little more of that, but it felt like it was kind of going from plot point to plot point. But it's not a bad movie, it's just not great. There's so many great scenes in the movie, Superman and Lois have really good chemistry. I wish there was more of it though. Doomsday in general, terrifying, really scary. I really love how clone Superman is really chill and nice, but then slowly he's humans don't really get it. Let me show them how they should go about their lives, and he slowly becomes fucked up. I love that. But there are better movies, like the next one in this series, Justice League The New Frontier. That's a really good movie, and I'm really excited to talk about that one. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the first episode into this, I guess, multi-episode series, because I'm gonna cover all these friggin' movies. And make sure to check out BetterHelp. Make sure to check out Interstellar Ranger Commence. Hey y'all, I'm sick, so let me just blow through this. Check out Interstellar Ranger Commence. Thanks so much to Sujikin for the art. And because he sent out so much dope fan art, I reached out to him, and you'll get to see some of his animated work in episode 4. Extremely talented guy. Thanks so much, patrons, as well. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to subscribe, and if you are, turn on notifications. Okay, bye.